What's going on, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. Is the blue wall in jeopardy? Derek Chauvin, George Floyd case. So you got chief and other officers, the police chief and other officers saying, what he did was inappropriate. It wasn't police policy, this, that, and the third. And people are asking, man, is the blue wall of silence, like, is it over? Is it crumbling? Is it breaking? And it's like, well, there's another case in New York where a cop got fired because he was basically lying on the people he was busting. So they threw out like 90 of his arrests, but all those people were locked up behind his felonious way of getting evidence, right? And there's another case in the cop that got beat up like 3-4 years ago in a protest by the police officer. He was going undercover, basically in the protest, and then he got beat up by the cops in the protest. I think those officers were acquitted. So, on a national scale, it looks like there may be some cracks in the blue wall of silence. But here's the thing. To have the conversation in the first place should let you know where this country has been for a very long time. Because when you say, because there's another news article about it also, is the blue wall of silence, coming down basically. So that would mean there's been a wall of silence, a blue wall this whole time. That means there's been police corruption this whole time, and this particular scenario is just gonna knock it down. And I'm thinking to myself, honestly, do you know how many bodies are buried, behind the blue wall of silence? Do you know how many people were incarcerated and families are broken up behind the blue wall of silence, and these guys and gals just kept collecting their checks and waiting for their pensions to cash out? There was who was the guy that the older guy who died recently, who wrote a letter of how the police were involved with Malcolm X's assassination, a murder. That man took that to his grave and cashed every check. And you could say in some way it was cowardice, in some way it was fear. That just happened also. And, people keep wondering, well, when is America going to change? America's going in the right direction. You got to pay people to go in the right direction. And if you're not paying, they're not going that way. So ultimately, do I think the blue wall of silence is in jeopardy? No. I mean, I would hope, but no. I think, just like with anything would happen when it goes public, people got to condemn what happened publicly. Now, all the other stuff that's not public, we're not going to talk about that. That's not part of the, that's behind the blue wall of silence. Like, what do you think the blue wall of silence is doing about the police officers that were at the Capitol riots? Not the ones on TV, but the ones they figured out breached the Capitol, that were police officers in badges. You hear anything about that? No, you didn't, did you? Well, that wall is still going. I know the Asian guy here got fired or quit. I was going to see what he said, I was going to see the artwork or some stupid stuff. But if that didn't happen, don't assume these other things, stop looking for the best, hoping for the best, because we're talking about a group of people who are practicing CYA, and they don't see any incentive in not practicing CYA when they're doing something wrong. So that's just my thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch you on the next one. Peace.